All right, this is the next video. We're number 2 of saving Rhonda, this big toy-built mower. I wish I had better light in here. See if that helps a little. Yeah, it may have helped a little. The thing I need to do is get underneath and make sure that the linkage is okay here with this arm. And what happens with these automatic choke Briggs and Stratton engines is this spring holds the arm like that. It holds it back that way. And that closes the choke plate in the front of the carburetor, so that when you pull the cord, a vacuum is created and it pulls the fuel in. And once the engine starts, it immediately starts getting warm at that muffler over there. And there's a heat-sensitive arm that quickly starts to move and pushes this out of the way, so it unchokes the engine. And then you get all the fuel in here that you need in there. But that spring has to be in place to choke it in the beginning, which is that way. Also, I still have the electric starter underneath, so I've got to get to that. Now this really just kind of needs to be cleaned up, and it'll be easier to do that if I start taking stuff off. Let me throw that in the trash. That's the ignition switch. I don't need that. Key's stuck in it anyway. Well, I'll be darned. Did I already do that? I can't remember, but this tank is already loose, so I'm beginning to think somebody might have already gone into this, but maybe that was me. I don't know. Let me see if I've got 3 screws over here. I see 1, 2. Yeah, I guess that was me. So anyway, I've started removing the tank, and the next order of business is to get the 3/8 screw off the bottom. So I'm going to do that using this electric drill. There's not very many threads on that screw, so it comes undone pretty quickly. So now this should tilt back. And of course, I'm looking for critters like black widows and mice and things that go bump in the night. So I don't see any problems there. Oh, by the way, let me see if I got fuel. Oh, good. It's dry as a bone. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and get the cord out from under here and push it under the tank, because I'm assuming I'm going to have to go into all this, and that this tank is gonna come off and be cleaned at least. So I think what I'll do now is go ahead and take this plate off where the air filter sits. And by the way, this is all really clean. The filter is dirty, but underneath it was very clean. So let me get my 5/16. There's 3 screws. One right up here, the hanger. It just sort of holds everything there, holds the plate onto this piece. And then the 2 really important ones. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Yeah, I think somebody may have been in this. These are the really important ones that connect straight into the carburetor. Yeah, see how loose that is? This screw is not even all the way in, so you'd be getting air leaks around that. That would also explain why that spring is missing, because they probably lost it and didn't even know it was missing. So that's out. There's a 5/16 screw that looks identical to these three that holds that dipstick on. And that's got to come out. Because I want to swing the dipstick away in order to get to this rewinder and what's underneath it. And I'm going to get one of my brushes and clean debris away from the base of this dipstick, because I don't want it falling in my crankcase when I swing it around. I don't want the debris falling down inside the machine. All right, so I'm going to kind of lift up a little bit and pull, and then swing it around. So I've swung this dipstick around this way. Now I can start getting to things like the rest of this electric ignition. There's a plug, I think. I'm just going to pull that out. All right, so that's coming off. That's this part. It goes attached to that starter. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my air filter base off. It does look okay. Now this tank can now sort of swing away, and since there's no fuel in it, I'm going to go ahead and try and get it off of this carb. I'm going to squeeze the hose clamp, swing it down here, and see if I can pull that thing off of there. It's on there pretty good. Alright, when that fails, you start pushing on it at the same time you're pulling. So let me get a screwdriver in there. There we go. So that worked. Alright, let's see if any fuel drips out of here. Nope, it's super dry. I'm checking now for black widows hiding up under these edges. If you don't believe me about black widows, go back and look at Saving Libby, the very first episode, 8 minutes in. So we got that tank out of the way. Now we can get this starter, which is useless. That's the little screw that holds the bottom of the tank on. And so to get to these screws, I can get to both of them without taking the rewinder off. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. We'll see if we can get that off. And just start it with by hand with the 3/8 right there. There's one screw on that side into the engine block, and then the other screw that's holding this starter on is underneath, lower left, right here. Okay. Now I can electric drill these things out, and this should just fall off once I get these out. There's one. There's two, and here comes your starter. Weighs about 4 or 5 pounds right there. Those 3/8 screws are always good to have around. So this is going to go in the middle recycling. I'll be right back. Hang on. Okay, I think just to finish up here, I'll go ahead and take this rewinder off, and we're going to see what's underneath. Again, like I did before, I'm going to get them started with this by hand with this wrench, and then use the electric drill. So here's 3/8. Get it started. Get these two in the back. 1, 2. And now I can use the electric drill to get this rewinder off and look underneath. Often the ones in the front are longer than the ones in the back. Let's see. See, these are see, these are shorter than the two in the front. Let me get the other one. Man. Okay. Let's see if any mice come running out. Nope. There's a big old spider web. Let's see if she's under there. No black widow. So set that down. Get my flashlight out and see if I can spot a spider. Oh, for heaven's sakes. That's something you don't see every day. I don't see any spiders, but what I do see, I've never seen before. This is amazing. Hang on a second, I gotta get a tissue. I gotta get the camera for this. I've never seen this before on a self-priming system. Someone has taken the arm that comes up here and pushes on this, and they've taken it and they smashed it and bent it and twisted it back underneath the kill switch. In fact, it's sticking up there in that void of the kill switch. I'll show you what I mean. This is the end of that piece that's supposed to come up, extend straight up, and move that. So I'm just going to grab this and get it out of there, because that's obviously not where it belongs. See, it's supposed to come up like this. And then this piece is all mangled, but it's sort of like that, see? And as the muffler heats up, this moves this way, it moves that arm out of the way. It does still work. Isn't that amazing? Even though it's been horribly twisted and mangled, it may work. I'll have to bend it and shape it some more. But that's enough for now.